Little Trek bring the hit squad, but could they finish the job in Tour de la Provence stage 1? We begin in Marseille under sunny. It looks beautiful for winter, doesn't it? Absolutely glorious start. That's why riders are happy to do Tour de la Provence. But actually, there was a lot of wind blowing. There was a few categorized climbs at the start, including the Cat 1. But the coverage starts here with a small peloton. You're wondering what's happened. Crosswinds happened. Small group because the wind absolutely decimated this race. I think Bennett will say in the interview afterwards he got dropped on the initial climb, got brought back, then there was headwind on the other climbs, and then just kicked off in the crosswind. But Trek, I'm going to guess Little Trek was the team to do that, because generally the team that splits it is the team that makes it with the most riders, and they've got just about every rider of their team in this front group. And look at the wind, 57.4 k's an hour, vitesse vent. That's French for crosswinds. And look at this hit squad that Trek have brought. Pedersen, Schoens, Mollema, Kirsch, Bernard, Gibbons, de Klerk. It's half their top classics team, and then half of their best sort of stage racing veterans. So here's the little red truck, Ewan Costew. He's a truck, but he's little, so he's a little red fire truck. He's a strong rider, good rider. Good sort of stage for him, because you've got a smaller group and 5% climbs, and other teams don't want to go to the finish with Mads Pedersen or Sam Bennett, and Total Energy don't have a sprinter that can go toe-to-toe with them. But look who he's got in his wheel when they attack. You've got Tom Schoens, who dropped Wout van Aert on the Berendries in Omloop in about a week and a half. He did that last year, and he's in the wheel, so where are you going to go? EF also controlling, because they have Moran van den Berg in this group, but yeah, Arkea, Bahrain, FDJ to a certain extent, the Conti teams, they don't want to sprint, they want to actually try something on these hills, so it all kicks off on these short hills. So quite an exciting race when coverage started, even though it had already split in the crosswinds. But unfortunately for these teams, Little Trek had it on lock, including with Julian Bernard, but also Mads Pedersen himself. Like when other riders went, Pedersen, that he was sort of worried about, like a Moritz later, you'll see he marked it. But Vercher, he's won races too. Did he win a Dauphiné stage? Or that was Viemos. I swear Vercher's won races recently in this sort of fashion. He goes clear. He gets a decent gap, 23 seconds. He would have hoped for maybe an Arkea rider to join him. Fred Wright jumps. He's got an Arkea with him, though, on this short hill. And Mollema can't respond. Wright looking in good shape. He's got Moritz in the group behind him. And then FDJ go. And it's actually, Pedersen gets involved himself in these moves. He doesn't just rely on his teammates who have been doing a lot of the work. Look at the foliage in the background, though. That's what I want you to focus on, the trees. Look how fast they're moving. It's a lot of wind. I don't know exactly the direction all the time, but it's a lot of wind. But at least it's sunny, not like in Bessèges the week before. And that's what I'm talking about. Moritz goes. He senses that moment, and Pedersen goes with him. And Pedersen pulls, which makes sense. If he's in a group with Moritz and Arkea rider, he's going to win the sprint, he's going to clean up GC, but he sees that Decathlon are chasing him all out, and so he decides better to conserve the legs. But yeah, he was doing some work himself, Pedersen, which I actually don't mind. The little red truck goes, Ewan Costew, shot out of a cannon, but Little Trek, again, are all over him. The only way someone's going to get away is with a veteran move. The intermediate sprint at Bel Air is won by Fred Wright ahead of Pedersen, and look at this vet move. All the sprinters have just sprinted. The domestiques are behind a bit. Samuel Leroux on Total Energy goes on the left-hand side, the 30-year-old who they just picked up, I think, this year. He won a stage from the break in Bessèges last year, beating Bissiger in a sprint. He goes at the perfect time. When the sprinters are just sprinted, they don't want to close him. The domestiques are behind, bang. He's a really strong ruler. There's these sort of journeymen, like these journeyman battlers who, he was on Van Rysel, a Continental team, way too good for that level. This guy can do a lot of watts for 20 minutes, super strong rider. His sprint isn't that great, so we can't win that way, but I'm glad he got a professional contract, and he had 25 seconds, but he loses a second and a half through that corner with 6.3 Ks to go. I dare say if he hadn't run into headwind in the last 5 Ks or so, where you see him doing 70 RPM force efforts, that maybe he would have won this stage. But a great attack nonetheless. The lead-outs, look how small the group is now with all the riders having worked. They bring him back with 600 metres to go. He got that far. Kirsch doing the lead-out for Pedersen, then Gibbons the last man. EF got one man, then Vandenberg slips onto the right wheel. So they do a great lead-out, EF. I got to say, they have it stretched. Pedersen will launch early. That's what he likes to do. And Vandenberg's in the perfect spot. Bennett's on his wheel. Kubis is brought up by the Tietema Rockets, Unibet Rockets, and Pedersen goes on the after Fred Wright kept him from the inside, Vandenberg on the outside, and Sam Bennett through the eye of the needle scoots through and wins the stage. I'll show you the overhead though. Quite an interesting sprint. Renard second or third, who loves a crosswind stage. Wright jumps early. Bennett had a man on his wheel sweeping. You see Kubis is brought up late. Vandenberg's in the perfect spot. I thought he was going to win from there, but Wright gets on the inside of Pedersen, and that sort of messes up Pedersen's sprint. The balance wise, it was narrow. It was quicker through the barrier. And Bennett right now, Bennett's thinking he's going to go right. He's thinking, I'm going to go right, shoot the gap underneath right. And then he switches off, and then he gets lucky, but you've got to make your own luck. I mean, sometimes you get boxed in, sometimes you don't. The gap open between Vandenberg and Pedersen, bang. I mean, Renard, he loves crosswinds, Renard. He always seems to do well at Genwevelhem in shit weather. He's a shit weather operator. Here's what Bennett had to say after the stage.
When did you envision victory today?
We wanted to come here and try and get our first win of the season. We knew it was going to be quite a hard beginning of the race. We managed to get over the first climb with enough riders to bring me back in the first group. And the guys did a fantastic job, but it was terribly difficult. But we managed to pull it off.
It's a difficult day, sunny but windy. How to fight?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite windy, but it actually helped me because a lot of the times it was headwind on the climb, so it allowed me to get over in the better group. So it was quite good and quite like the wind.
Just one word for your team.
Yeah, the team were fantastic, and I want to thank them for the amazing support. And they didn't give up hope on me after Bessèges, and we came here, and I'm glad to repay them with a victory.
Got to be great for Bennett's confidence to get a win on the board against sprinters of this quality so early, because you won convincingly in the end ahead of Kubis, Renard, Russo, Pedersen, Vandenberg, Stewart, Gruel, Bergerdo, and Fred Wright. Hope you enjoyed the video. We've got an uphill sprint in Manosque tomorrow. It was bad weather last year. Pedersen dominated everybody. Should be a good stage. Hope you enjoyed the video. Ciao.